Just want you to update us about it.
That is true. That is true. That is true.
Okay, so what is your reaction to this?
Well, I am pleased. I am very pleased that he's been released. The police have done the right thing by releasing him, because from day one we've always maintained that those statements, in the entirety, do not break any law. I am not happy with the way Sabally has been treated. I believe freedoms under the Constitution have been violated. I do not believe that the application that was filed in court to seek the extension of his detention was done on good faith. I believe that the reason was politically motivated, and he's been in custody until his release about 10 or 11 days without being charged. Even though there was an order extending his detention. So I am disappointed with the way the authorities acted in relation to Sabally. I am happy he's released, but I'm not happy about, because what happened is really bad for democracy. This country went through a lot on the Yaya Jammeh. We are still trying to create a roadmap for the implementation of the TRRC recommendations. And the TRRC recommendations, for the most part, are in relation to institutional reforms, legal and institutional reforms. These reforms are important to prevent the recurrence of serious human rights abuses and violations that occurred on the Yaya Jammeh. So for me, throughout, I was acting in the best interest of Sabally as an individual. But in a way, I feel what I was doing was broader, was bigger than Sabally. So this was to make sure that we created a society where government respects fundamental rights and freedom. So I am very happy that we can go into the new year without the continued violation of Sabally. But I believe, I must say that the way Sabally has been treated in relation to this, we should not do this kind of thing to over people. It is not right. In a democracy, people have the right to belong to different political organizations. People have the right to criticize government. If people want to criticize myself or Barrow or you or whoever every single day, that is their problem. Okay? If you believe that somebody has said something against you to defame you, you can go to court. But we should not. But even though we have to be careful, because in a democracy we have to respect dissent and the right to express oneself, one's opinion. But the way Sabally has been treated, you arrest somebody, detain them, you only interview them for the first 3 hours of their arrest. After that, you don't speak to them whatsoever, but you detain them at one place. That is not, in a way, that is an abuse of the law. It's an abuse of the legal process. Yeah. By the same people who are mandated the responsibility to uphold the law. So if the institutions entrusted and vested the constitutional and the statutory duty and obligation to uphold and enforce the law, are the same people who are the perpetrators of violating the same law, then we are in trouble. And I think it is the duty of every Gambian, it's the duty of every concerned citizen and our international partners to make sure that we advocate against such behavior. Because if that happens, consciously or subconsciously, will create another dictatorship. And I don't think Gambians voted in December 2016 to create any semblance of Yaya Jammeh's style of governance.
Yeah, we've seen that yesterday you wrote on your Twitter that you were denied access to see Mahmoud Sabally, where you intend to talk to him about legal proceedings. So, and that tweet generated a lot of comments, and people were like, "We only have a regime change, but there is nothing like system change." Do you believe that tweet is among the reasons that the government released your claims unconditionally?
It may be a contributing factor, but you know what? I know the Supreme Islamic Council intervened. There was a meeting in Banjul this morning, all that. But I also believe that in the end, the government saw that people mobilized to challenge actions that are considered by many to be unlawful. So this also says that there is power in the hands of the people. Hence, even the Constitution, that the sovereignty of this nation resides in the hand of citizens. So my court processes, my tweets, but the entire Gambian population, both here in the diaspora and the others, who've been amplifying some of the unlawful actions that have been happening since Sabally's arrest, I think created a certain level of pressure. It created a certain level of pressure, and in the end, this big thing became too toxic for government. So the only option was to release him before we create something. What I mean by creating something, because this was becoming too toxic, because everyone was talking about this. Everyone was seriously concerned. Those who politically agreed with Sabally or disagreed with Sabally, but in the end there was commonality in the condemnation of what was happening, because it became very clear. But it looks like some of the things that happened on the Yaya Jammeh were creeping back in, and therefore it was the duty of all of us to speak up against some of those things. Otherwise, we will backslide. So I think what was happening on social media, on Facebook, and all over different social media platforms, I think really created a force. And I think that pressure ultimately led to a large extent to Sabally's release. But because there also the truth in what the people were saying. Above all, I do not believe, like I've consistently said from day one, that the statements made by Sabally do not amount to either incitement of violence or amount to treason. So I believe that if Sabally had indeed committed a crime, an offense, I think he would have been charged. But the fact that they never charged him, the fact that he wasn't even spoken to, apart from the first few hours of his arrest, tells you that the police really didn't have anything to question Sabally about. That's why they never went back to question him. So I think he was just kept there, maybe just because Sabally, like everyone says, he's a phone, the government. So in a way, they was like, let's keep him there, let's just kind of teach him a lesson. Even though I think it will take, I think it will take more than that to really silence Sabally. Even if you were able to achieve that, I think that will happen in a billion years. But I think we also need, I disagree with Sabally sometimes, and that's okay and normal. But we also need the likes of Sabally sometimes in a democracy. We also need people who are fearless to speak truth to power.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the risk always would be that we create a society where we put our political leaders on a pedestal, and we subconsciously create dictators.
So finally, what do you believe Gambians should do to ensure that such things do not reoccur in as far as we consider ourselves a democratic state?
I think people need to speak up more. When people need to speak, people use whichever medium, social media or whatever, but people need to really speak up. So when small things happen, we tell government that this is wrong. Gradually you start creating a society where it becomes a norm to respect rights. That is one. But when we are also electing our political leaders, National Assembly, local government and stuff like that. Let us elect individuals that are fit for purpose. Otherwise, it will always be difficult. You know, when you put the wrong people in the wrong places, then you will always get the wrong results. That is the frank answer. You know, so governments have to be really, you know, we have to awake. You know, we from you know, we have to be, you know, we have to understand that you know, we have to take responsibility when we elect people, when we, you know, the way we treat political leaders. You know, we have to realize that, you know, these are our servants, they are our public servants. You know, they are not masters. You know, so those ideas have to change. You know, because when you put people there, like almost as gods, then they will look down on you and they believe they can suppress your rights. So governments have to really rise to the challenge. What I mean rise to the challenge is that we you know, when it comes to election times, when we come to dealing with our political leaders, you know, we should you know, the way I defended Sabally, for example, going about and whatever, it's not like I am seeing myself as some warrior or something like it. I can simply keep quiet and go to sleep early and have a sound sleep and without all this hassle. But consciously, consciously, would that be the right thing to do? You know, so we all have a stake in this, and you know, we shouldn't take this responsibility lightly. That would be my message to Gambians.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fatu, for speaking to us.
All right, thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Just want you to update us about it.